of identifying the incarnation is an established science. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was identified as the by Yogi Raj Yogananda Puri, Vidwan Panduranganar, and the 230th Guru Mahasannidhanam of Tondemandaladinam of Kanchipuram. At the age of 16, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism received the official coronation by his Guru, Mata Vibhudananda Puri, also lovingly called as Mataji Kuppammal. As part of into the lineage and as the coronation, as part of the coronation rituals, Mataji Kuppammal and the traditional items of the kamandalu, the conch, and the wooden staff. These are the traditional items that are handed over along with the official induction of the successor as the successor into the lineage. And you can see here to the left a photo of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism at the age of 16 with Mata Vibhudananda Puri, as well as the Pattabhishekam photo on the right in front of the sacred Arunachala hill where the Supreme Hinduism is being coronated to revive Kailasa. Here we can see the early days in the mission of Kailasa and the mission of the Nithyananda Sangha. When the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was very young, the first temple monastery complex built by the Supreme Pontiff was for his Guru, Mataji Vibhudananda Puri in Tirunamale. This complex was built brick by brick of Hinduism himself under the guidance of his Gurus. After starting the public life in the year 2001, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism inaugurated the Erode Adinam, the first of Hinduism, established the first temple monastery in Tiruchengodu, South India. As you can see here on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's own handwriting, the annotation of this special occasion which happened on this day. We can also see in the year 2002, November 4th, at the age of 24, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established the headquarters of Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Peetham in South India. By the year 2004, Hinduism at the age of 26 started conducting the mass living enlightenment conventions and initiations, taking people through powerful cleansing processes of the 7 energy bodies which each one of us carries. These mass living enlightenment initiations happened all North America, Canada, and Europe. By the age of 27, in the year 2005, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism welcomed with the proclamation message by the Mayor of St. Louis, Francis G. Slay. Here we can see the glimpses of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in various parts of the globe, all across the world, giving and conducting the Mass Living Enlightenment Initiation Convention. Here we can see during the Kumbh Mela of Nasik in the year 2015 and the Kumbh Mela of Ujjain in the year 2016. In both Kumbh Melas, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gave the Mass Living Enlightenment Initiation to attendees in both the Kumbh Mela festivals and the Living Enlightenment Process program, which was conducted during the festival period. Here we can see the official coronations happening to the Pontiff of Hinduism. The first coronation the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism received was at the very young age. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated in 33rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Kanchi Tondemandaladinam. In the year 2002, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was officially coronated Emperor of the Suryavamshi Surangi Samrajya. In the following years, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as the present 23rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Dharma Mukti Swarga Paramadhinam. In the year 2012, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was 293rd Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam of Kailas Sonata Shamla Pita Sarvinya Pita. In the year 2013, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was as the Mahamandaleshwar, which is the supreme spiritual head of the Mahanirvani Akhada, which is the largest apex monastic order, apex monastic body of Hinduism. In the year 2014, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated Acharya Mahamandaleshwar, which is the head of all spiritual leaders of the Atal Akhada, which is the ancient most apex body of Hinduism. In the year 2015, Swamiji was elected as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by a congregation of more than 1,000 Hindu leaders, pontiffs. Here we can see the sovereign state of Sri Kailasa. What is Kailasa? Kailasa is a macrocosmic, ancient, enlightened Hindu civilizational nation whose vision is living enlightenment for all of humanity. Kailasa's mission is to revive and share with today's world the practical applications of the greater sciences of authentic Hinduism, including the Hindu cosmic physics, Hindu alchemy, Hindu cosmology, Hindu biology, Hindu mathematics, power manifestation, and other sciences as revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. These sciences were once practiced freely in over 56 nations across, but are now facing extinction due to the persecution which has been happening over a millennium. Here we can see Sri Kailasa's Uniting Nations, which has initiated 100 initiations supporting a variety of humanitarian services, which collectively allows for the creation of an enlightened, peaceful, sustainable, equitable, resilient, and thriving world. One of the many initiatives which we're going to be looking at right now is the No Hungry Home project, Kailasa's Uniting Nations, for nutritious and healthy food. Yes, we are seeing here now the No Hungry Home project offered by Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for nutritious food and a hunger-free world. Sri Kailasa, over the past 27 years, has served more than 1 billion meals, and every month for the past 27 years, the Hindu ASMT community has organized more than 1 billion Annadan. Annadan is the free organic meals as per the tradition, which are served during the religious gatherings to everyone without discrimination. On a daily basis, up to 10,000 meals are served free of cost, and the numbers go up to 100,000 on festival days. Here we can see Kailasa's protective and preventive COVID care centers offered by Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for affordable and holistic healthcare. During the pandemic, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism converted his monastery campuses into a multi-layer quarantine facility. This multi-layer quarantine facility, being 3 campuses of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, were given free for all, regardless of any differences in age, gender, caste, creed, ethnicity, color, or social economic status. Food, shelter, internet, and all basic facilities, including free medical care, were provided for everyone for an indefinite amount of time. More than 30 million Kailasa e-citizens followed Kailasa's 28-day spiritual regimen in the year 2020. Here we can see Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Education Reform and Development, offering the Nithyananda Hindu University and the Nithyananda Gurukul. The Nithyananda Hindu University was established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and is the world's largest. Nithyananda Hindu University has more than 20 million enrollments, 7,000 courses, and extended campuses in more than 150 countries. The Nithyananda Gurukul was inaugurated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on October 2nd, 2006. The Nithyananda Gurukul is the revival of the ancient Adi Shaiva Guru disciple education system, which is an authentic knowledge transmission system based on living enlightenment. Here we have the Sri Kailasa nations for the protection of Hindu scriptures. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has established the Nithyananda Jnanalaya, which is the library, and the Hinduismpedia for this very purpose. The Jnanalaya project was established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to collect and preserve the 1 million Hindu scriptures while ensuring that knowledge is made accessible and shared free of cost to all. Collecting and preserving the 1 million source books on Hinduism. The Hinduismpedia, Kailasa's Hinduismpedia, is where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has collected more than 15 terabyte of digital books and rare manuscripts from all 19 Sarvangas, ancient mutts and ashrams. More than 1 million pages on Hinduism, a collection of 22,000 digital books and 1,000 e-textbooks, as well as 100,000 articles have been collected on various topics in Hinduism. Not only that, but the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has personally authored more than 10,000 books in 3 languages, which have been translated into 50 other different languages, has published more than 10,000 articles, and has given more than 10,000 hours of free discourses with a combined view of 1 billion. Here we have the conferences for world peace offered by Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for global peace, which is harmony. In the year 2009, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism organized a month-long peace walk covering 1,000 kilometers and 1,000 villages to bring together in harmony from all walks of life to promote feeling connection and oneness among people. The walk, health camps were conducted in villages along its path. Here we can see the women empowerment programs offered by Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for women empowerment and gender equality. Yogini Sarvangipeedam is the establishment of yoga and meditation universities to empower the quality of life and emphasis on life solutions through Vedas and Agamas, empowering the indigenous rural women, fighting against wrongful gender stereotyping, gender-based violence, and lack of inclusive and quality learning environments. Some of these initiatives include the Kailasa's Nithyananda Lakshmi project, which is Kailasa's Women Foundation and Women Empowerment Cell, which have been launched in 108 places across the globe since its initiation in 2009. Kailasa's Ankita program, which is providing foundational literacy about working of community services as well as infrastructural establishments. And lastly, we have Kailasa's Ashreya program, which is providing training programs to rural indigenous women to provide equal opportunity and access to independent, self-sufficient financial environments to them. Not only that, but the Supreme Pontiff of Hindu feminism in Kailasa, where 80% of the leadership positions are occupied by women. Next, here we have the Nithyananda Yoga, offered by Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Yoga. The Nithyananda Kriyas are 108 scientifically validated Kriyas revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, specifically targeting the 108 major diseases and disorders such as diabetes, arthritis, blood pressure, rheumatism, and more. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also revived the ancient pole yoga, Shivastamba yoga, and rope yoga, Kundalini, in which yogic asanas, postures, and weight balancing techniques are performed to create the yogic physiology, aligning it to geometry that manifests superconscious powers. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also received 2 Guinness World Records for the largest yoga and largest pole yoga, Shivastamba yoga classes, receiving worldwide attention to these extraordinary forms of yoga. These Guinness World Records were established on the 30th of September and 3rd of October respectively. Despite being heavily persecuted continuously for over a decade, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has withstood and, in his unwavering intention and commitment, built the only Hindu nation, sovereign state of Sri Kailasa, the most ancient, protecting to revive and preserve Hinduism, the most ancient, most peaceful, still living and long lasting, that shows the possibility of peaceful coexistence among people. Here we have one of the most historic moments of the Kailasa and the history of the building of Kailasa, where Kailasa, the first nation of Hindus, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda, spoke on behalf of the 2 billion global Hindu diaspora at the 14th session of the United Nations Forum on Minority Issues. A significant milestone in the history of Hindus and sovereign state of Sri Kailasa happened on December 2nd, 2021. His Excellency Shri Nithyananda, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, represented the persecution of Hindus at the 14th session of the United Nations Forum on Minority Issues. The theme of the forum was conflict prevention and the protection of the human rights of minorities. This was the first time the plight of persecuted Hindu minorities were represented in the United Nations, and the ongoing and systematic generational attacks on Hindu indigenous traditions were highlighted in this meeting. Here now we are going to be looking at the various torture and murder and non-state actors. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, more than 70 attempts and physical attacks have happened on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in India as well as abroad. 40 attacks on community members, destruction of monasteries and temples. Over 60 incidences of attacks, molestation and rape of women and women monks. Intense lawfare through the 100 false cases, intersectional persecution using the entire government mechanism, politically owned media, police and judiciary controlled by politicians, inciting mob violence through the social media. These are but just few of the many ways the anti-Hindu spiritual elements have tried to persecute, harm and try to demoralize and prevent the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism from building and establishing the Kailasa nation. As we all can see now, how unsuccessful not only were their attempts were, but the success of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in establishing the Kailasa nation. With this, we would like to share with all of you a very important and very special breaking news, which has been published very recently by the News Minute media platform. Here we can see the official post being presented on the Supreme of Hinduism's official page. As you can see here, media reveals the truth about no Interpol notice against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. The Interpol has debunked the spate of disinformation in media of any Interpol notice or diffusion against Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam in deference to the fact that he is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and head of the state of the United States of Kailasa. The persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been recognized by the United Nations, international bodies and multis. After baseless rumor spread about Interpol notices being issued against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, media like News Minute have revealed the truth of no Interpol notice against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, along with clear evidence of letters directly from the Interpol on the same. So as you can see here, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is free and acquitted of this. If you were watching the media back in the years of 2019 and 2020, multiple news outlets, multiple media outlets, especially in India, were trying to portray that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was a refugee, was on the run, and was being wanted by Interpol. As you can see here now, Interpol themselves have cleared and dismissed all confusion and have cleared misrepresentation, misinformation being given on this matter, and that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism not only was never any charges were filed on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, never was he accused of committing any crime, but they also recognize the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as the head of the Sri Kailasa, United States of Kailasa. So this is an extremely good news for all of us as Kailasas and devotees and disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. We urge all of you to go ahead to social media, to Facebook, to Twitter, and share this great news with the whole world. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as never charged with anything by Interpol or by any other international body. Moreover, these international bodies themselves now recognize the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as head of the sovereign state of Kailasa. Please go over and you can read all the news links have been posted in the official SPH handle in Facebook. So you can go there and refer to all the official links and the official statements being given by the Interpol, quitting the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, clarifying that never any charges were made in the first. So with this, we're going to be moving on to the next segment of today's program, which is the power manifestation segment. The power manifestation science is one of the most important contributions the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made for all of us, has made to humanity. In this segment, we're going to be going over manifestation works, the Shastric Pramana, the scriptural reference for this powers of power manifestation, as well as the live demonstration of these powers. So please stay tuned. Please, you can use this break to go ahead and visit the Facebook page and social media, Pontiff of Hinduism Facebook page, and read about these things for yourself. Not only that, but please take a few minutes and share with all your Facebook circles, your social media circles, and share this good news and spread the word. We'll be back with you after a break.
Since the beginning of time and space, Bhagwan Paramashiva, the all-powerful, all-pervasive, and all-knowing ultimate superconscious existence, revealed in the Vedas and Agamas, the source scriptures of Hinduism, the truths about himself and the manifested universe and its multidimensional and simultaneously existing dimensions and worlds, also known as parallel universes or vertical time zones.
Trutyadi pratyayasya kalo maya samudbhavaha. The Kala Tattva, which gives rise to the knowledge of various time zones and parallel universes such as Truti and others, is originated by Ananteshwara from the impure Maya.
Bhagwan Paramashiva mentions that as we experience the various higher states of consciousness, we simultaneously experience the various time zones associated with them. We get transported to the parallel universes and experience the other dimensions of our own existence, of our own personality.
Listen, Subarloka is all about stable bliss, absolute health and stable bliss. Maharloka is all about the highest peak possibilities. Jana Loka is the place where you can exist in multiple bodies at a time. You experience oneness as the super reality. Tapa Loka is that last struggle you go through. Sometimes you know you are Paramashiva, sometimes you just slip off, but again you say, I am Paramashiva. That space is the Tapoloka, an absolute surrender, whether I am remembering, I am manifesting Paramashivatva, or I am deluded, I surrender both to Paramashiva. When you take that decision, you are lifted to Brahmaloka. You move to the Brahmaloka. The deep surrender lifts you to Brahmaloka. Then from there you move to Parandama, Vaikunta, and Kailasa, then Mahakailasa itself.
The key to unlock these parallel universes is hidden in the spine of the human body.
Human beings, only human beings on this planet Earth are empowered, hardwired, capable of migrating to parallel universe. Understand? Your spine is not only hardwired, capable of fuel, charged to lift you off to different parallel universes.
Sukritan manavo bhutva jnani chen mokshamapnuyat chaturashita-laksheshu sharireshu sharirinam namanusyam vina yatra tattvahanantu labhyate. Of the 8.4 million bodily forms, the human body is the most important, for it is this form in which one gets knowledge of the essence. This knowledge of essence cannot be attained in any other form other than human.
The possibility you have need to be told to you. Understand? Even though animals have spine, because the majority of the time they spend horizontally, the spine is not capable of getting fuel with a subtle fuel called ojas. The ojas need to be filled in your spine, and the kundalini need to be ignited for you to reach.
Yes, welcome to all the viewers to back to the session. Now we'll be entering the power manifestation session. So now we're going to be seeing what are the powers and how the powers manifest through us. So in the Vedas and Agamas, which are the source scriptures of Hinduism, Paramashiva reveals in elaborate detail that every human being is hardwired to be able to manifest the 463 extraordinary Shaktis of Paramashiva. Manifesting power Shaktis is described in a systematic method and science for human beings to explore the various possibilities and powers having access to the various states of consciousness. Shaktis manifest from the fundamental cognition that you are divine, you are, and you need to manifest divinity and not that you are a human. Now we're going to be seeing the difference between the Shaktis and the Siddhis. So, Shaktis are powers, extraordinary manifestations that happen from the space of enlightenment and intense oneness with the Guru. Whereas Siddhis are powers that manifest from tapas or penance for enlightenment. And Siddhis manifest from the source of enlightenment, whereas Shaktis manifest from the source of enlightenment, whereas Siddhis manifest on the path of enlightenment. And the Shaktis manifest of Paramashiva, they manifest through any human being, whether irrespective of what he has done in the past and in the future, what he is going to do, irrespective of anything, they can manifest the Shaktis. But the Siddhis manifest only after a long amount of tapas and penance that is done. and the Shaktis are permanent, whereas the Siddhis are not permanent and they divert us from the path of enlightenment. Next, we're seeing the various ways the powers are validated. There are 4 different ways the powers are validated. So there is the Shastra Pramana, which is the scriptural references, the direct revelations of Paramashiva, what Paramashiva has told in the Vedas and Agamas. Then we have the Apta Pramana, which is the time tested, foolproof experiences and experiments done by the ancient scientists who are the rishis and other enlightened beings who have walked this planet, like Paramahamsa Yogananda, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, Mahapariva, all these great beings who are there with us just 50 to 20 to 50 years before, all including all of them and various other incarnations of Paramashiva, of Mahavishnu and other devatas that have happened, how they manifested, how they expressed these powers and showed it to the world. That is the Apta Pramana. The Atma Pramana is the time tested, foolproof, and validated experiences of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. After any experience that he had, he verified them with the Shastra Pramana. What the scriptures are saying, is his experience matching with the scriptures, and the Apta Pramanas, whether it's matching. And then the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares it to us as his Atma Pramana. The Pratyaksha Pramana and the scientific study connected on the powers and how these powers are manifesting. Now we'll be seeing the details of the detail of the pramanas after a few minutes. Now first we have to understand who is the source of the Shaktis and how these Shaktis manifest. And the answer is Paramashiva. Paramashiva is the primordial divinity in Hinduism, the ultimate reality cause, which is self-effulgent, Swayam Prakasha, all-pervading, all-inclusive, unclutched beyond time and space and form of this whole reality. And it is from Paramashiva that the whole reality that we know, this whole existence, this whole manifestation is maintained, sustained, rejuvenated, put in delusion, and liberated. So, this is the source from which the whole cosmos is created. Now, about the Shaktis, how these Shaktis in the ultimate truth about the Shaktis. The powerful cognitions are, when they are understood and digested by our consciousness, they manifest as the ultimate Shaktis, Prajnana. Now we are going to be seeing the details of each of these pramana, what Paramashiva has given for each of these pramanas. So for the Shastra Pramana, it is from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 34, where Paramashiva gives an elaborate explanation of how these powers manifest from the third eye. The Shastra Pramana, the Sanskrit verse for the revelation is from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 34. The verse goes, Kapalantar manonyasa tishtan milita lochanaha Kramena manaso dhadyat lakshayet lakshyamuttamam. Paramashiva says, by fixing the mind on the inner space within the crown center and stably sitting without any movement, having the eyes closed in succession to the third eye, by that stability of the mind and inner space, one has the divine vision of the Lakshyam, the ultimate goal, and the vision beyond the sight showing the any object or place and attaining the space of oneness with the source Paramashiva. Now we are going to see the Apta Pramana for this power. The Apta Pramana is from the beautiful scripture of the Mahabharata, the Purana of the Mahabharata, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna shows Arjuna his cosmic form, the Vishwarupa Darshana. So the story goes that Arjuna asked Krishna that he wanted to see the cosmic form of Krishna, of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and Krishna tells Arjuna that you cannot see the cosmic form with the physical eyes of yours. Therefore, I initiate you, I grant you the divine vision, behold my cosmic form. So this is exactly the translation 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And then the 11th chapter continues with Arjuna describing the various aspects of the magnificent form of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Now we are seeing the Atma Pramana, how the supreme point of Hinduism experienced this experienced this power. So in his own words, the supreme point of Hinduism says, the first experience that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degrees, 10 directions, and below me, everything I realized, not only I was able to see, I was able to feel and experience all that is me. So we can see here how the supreme point of Hinduism's own experience is aligning with the Shastra Pramana. Here we can see the scientific research and scientific study that has been conducted on the directly on the supreme point of Hinduism, showing the existence and the energy that is being radiated from the third eye. So we can see here that directly the supreme point of Hinduism itself is undergoing a brain scan. The special technology that was used was the positron emission tomography, which is used to see how much energy being released from the brain. And they saw that when the supreme point of Hinduism was in the state of meditative, was in a meditative state, they saw large amounts of energy being radiated from the frontal lobe where the third eye is. And this same readings have been replicated by the Balasans and the other yogis who underwent the various other like EEG scans and other scans. When they went through, the same kind of readings were shown. Now we are going to be seeing one of the powers that manifests from the space of the third eye, which is the power of consciousness over matter. And for that, I will be having my Atmalinga, and I will be making the Atmalinga to stand on my hand, as recently we have been initiated into this power. So I'll be manifesting this for you. Before we go into the manifestation, I'll be reading the Shastra Pramana for the power. The Shastra Pramana for this power is from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 120, Dharana 95. The verse goes, Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanai drishtim nivartayet tadjnanam chitta sahitam devi shunyalayo bhavet. Paramashiva says, having fixed one's eyes on a particular object, vastu, one should slowly withdraw the sight of that object along with the thoughts and impressions of that object. Then, O Devi, one abides in Shunya, the state where there is ultimate oneness and all inclusive infinite inclusivity. So this is the beautiful meaning of the verse that Paramashiva has given to us. So now I'll be showing you this my hand in the close-up camera so that we can have a better view of the manifestation.
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam
Yes, so here we can see my Atmalinga, and so here we can see my Atmalinga, and so
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivam.
yes, so we can see my Atmalinga now. Sorry for the technical glitch. Yeah, so here my Atmalinga is there, and I'm going to be making the Atmalinga to stand. So here you can see my hand, that there is no kind of, any something abnormal. There's no kind of glue. There is, it's just looking as normal. So I can have a better look now. Now, and my Atmalinga is there, and as we know, the Atmalinga is made of a crystalline material, so there's no kind of thing which is there, which can make the Atmalinga move. And I have this tissue paper over here. It's just a regular tissue paper, and I'm having this so that when the demonstration is happening, and just before I do the power, I can show that there are no kind of strings which are tied to the Atmalinga. So now I'm going to be placing the Atmalinga on my hand. So I'm placed the Atmalinga on my hand, and now with this tissue paper, I'm just going to be circling the Atmalinga to show that there's no strings which are there around, and so you can see that there is no strings which are there around, and even when the paper is moving, there's no kind of movement. And I'll also be showing this when the manifestation is happening. So I'm just keeping the tissue paper here. So now I'll be connecting with Paramashiva, and as we saw in the Shastra Pramana, the detailed revelation, the step-by-step revelation is given on how the manifestation happens. So I'll be connecting with Paramashiva, and from that space of oneness, we'll be seeing the manifestation happening. And this time, now you can also take this time to either, you want to manifest any reality that in your life, or you also want to manifest this power. You can do this right now, because I'm in the space of entanglement. When I create that space, automatically, because we are all in the same state of Paramashivoham, automatically you will also be affected by this. Like how when someone heals us from a far distance, also we still receive the healing. When Swamiji gives us the healing from wherever he is in Mahakailasa, and we are thousands of kilometers away, we have seen years and times to get, again we have seen this happening, like how through the two-way video conferencing, the Supreme Point of Hinduism was able to transfer the energy, either it's materialization or it is healing or it is levitation, anything was possible. So now you can also take the same time we are going to be manifesting. So now I'm going to be chanting the Mahavakya, so chant along, and then we will all see the manifestation happening. ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् 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 So yes, we have seen the manifestation happening now. Now let us also, if we have manifested, let's post that in the chat also, saying that if you have manifested, you can just let us know also how you manifested. So now we'll be moving on to the next session.
I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all.
Yes, so now we'll be moving on to the next session. And just before we move, I again want to reiterate the amazing happening which has happened, how Sanatana Hindu Dharma is being held, is being revived again by the supreme point of Hinduism. Through his revival, we are able to see that how other international communities are also supporting the supreme point of Hinduism. And as we know, how Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said that dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, when we support the dharma, automatically dharma also supports us. So even though there is so much of negativity which is being happening in the outer world, how much of attack against the supreme point of Hinduism, the will persistence that has been shown by the supreme point of Hinduism again and again in various fields, whether it is to support the um, No Hungry Home project, or the construction of the Kailasa, or the various other temple monasteries that has been constructed by the supreme point of Hinduism. Each one of them have been a pillar showing the greatness of the will persistence of the supreme part of Hinduism. So it is our responsibility also to share to all our friends and families, telling them the truth about really what has happened and how the supreme point of Hinduism is supporting the world, is helping the humanity to raise to the next level of consciousness. And if we want the humanity also to accept the happening, then we need to inform them, because with knowledge comes the, when you have the knowledge about something, it is a tool, it is a power that you gain. So make sure that you share this with as many number of people and don't just spam it to them. Go and show it to them, post it in a group, and give your own um, understandings and your explanation of how the supreme point of Hinduism is helping the humanity. Because we know that when we share this to a large number of people, more people will start accepting this and will get to know the truth. Because the media, and we know how many anti-spiritual and anti-social elements have been continuously attacking the supreme point of Hinduism, attacking Hinduism overall, and trying to push the humanity into delusion. So when we give them the truth about this, they will start understanding that the supreme point of Hinduism is helping us and supporting us to rise to the next level of super consciousness. So make sure that you share this to as many number of people in a meaningful way, without spamming them, or without just just sharing it to them, but give everyone the understanding about this and tell them about the authenticity of this. Share the each link which has been um, pinned in the description of this post, and tell them about the authenticity and the work that the supreme point of Hinduism has been doing for humanity. So now let us take this beautiful opportunity that has happened and share it to the whole world. Let us share this beautiful happening to the whole world, and let the humanity know that the supreme point of Hinduism is the real Nijavatara of Paramashiva, come down to raise us to the next level of super consciousness. So now, before we move into the next segment, where we'll be learning about the various forms of various way the power manifestation can raise us to the next level of consciousness, the how the supreme point of Hinduism has shared the science of power manifestation. We'll be learning about that in the next segment. So now let us share this post with everyone. And now we'll be moving on to the next segment, where we'll be learning the greater truths about manifest, how Paramashiva has given these Shaktis, and how oneness, integrity, and manifesting Shaktis can raise us to the next level of super conscious breakthrough. So now let's all sit straight. Once we have finished the post, and once we have finished sharing, even throughout the video, make sure that you share it so that you can take this to a larger number of people. So make sure you do that, and also come to the space of listening. And let us now enter into the video.
Every day religiously play with powers. Playing with powers means what? Playing with your oneness. Playing with your ability to be grounded in oneness with Mahadeva, Sadashiva. Understand, powers sometime may not manifest, but you playing with Mahadeva always does right thing for you. That's the best thing for you. Sometimes the food you ate will be digested, sometimes may not be digested. That does not mean you will stop eating. Even if the food what you took is not digested, you have to take some other food which will make that digested and clean the stomach. Some people ask me, what is the solution for power not manifesting? Solution for power not manifesting is power manifestation. That's all. Just little more oneness and little more will persistence. That's it. Power manifestation will automatically make you integrated. Man with $1 billion will not lose his integrity for a penny on the street. Law of life. Understand? Law of life. Integrity is a law for the poor man, moral for the middle class man, way of life for a rich man. I am not talking just in ordinary money sense. I am talking from the sense of powerfulness. Integrity is the law to be enforced on a powerless poor man. It's a moral to be taught for a middle class man who faces ups and downs. It's a way of royal way of life. Raja Vidya for powerful being. So all your energy, your effort, your will, persistence should go on power manifestation. So naturally, your idea about you will be raised. Understand? You just need to feel all the time you are Harry Potter. Means we can create a new word, Hara Potter. You just should know. You have that oneness. Spider. You can just stretch your hands and that spider will spread all around and you can do what you want. Oneness is the material. Oneness is the existence. Oneness makes you feel royal. That's the right word I'll utter. Constantly manifesting more and more of oneness, more and more of power manifestation, more and more of strength, more and more of powerfulness. Integrity follows powerfulness. I tell you honestly, power manifestation and powerful cognition manifestation makes you integrated. Integrity never makes you manifest powers. That's the truth. Don't expect by practicing integrity you will manifest powers. That, I don't know how many janmas it will take. On manifesting powers, that will actually make you healthy, wealthy. For example, if you are moving a matter, don't think just you are only moving a matter. You will be cleaning your liver and kidney and heart during those moments. If you even medically test, your internal organs will be at their best performance. When you move a matter, time stops working on you and the anti-aging happens to you. A reversal of all the physical damage done to your body by time happens. If you just move a matter through power manifestation, your yoga will become amazing. Your digestion will become amazing. And your wealth manifestation will become amazing. Because you need to understand all power manifests from the space of Mahadeva, Sadashiva. It's not that for each power you have a separate mantra and you use that mantra, only that power manifests. No. You use tantra, not mantra, which is same for all power manifestation. Go on be power manifesting. Go on be reaching out to others. Go on be causing. I tell you. That just makes you a pure channel of Mahadeva, Sadashiva. That makes you a pure channel of Sadashiva. Every day at least 1 hour play with power manifestation, minimum. Whole day going on playing is the best way. Even if you go and sit in the beach or lake, play with the water. Just instruct and water will listen to whatever you say. Be part of this Sangha. That will help you tons of ways to do power manifestation. Let your life be built, grounded on power manifestation. Every way, think and align. Let your life be grounded on power manifestation. All power manifestation should align to manifest what you want as reality. Understand? Whatever you want in your life, you should be able to manifest. That is what is the purpose of power manifestation. Please maintain highest integrity and actual goal is manifesting life. Understand, when you move the coconut, crack the coconut, that is not the actual goal. Just cracking the coconut and break, it will crack, that's all. When you move the coconut, crack the coconut, use that power to balance your blood pressure, balance your sugar level, to heal your intra-organs, internal organs and reverse aging. These are all the real powers which you can manifest through this coconut moving. Understand, when you know your consciousness over the matter, then your internal organs are also matter. Have power over them and start healing them, reversing the diseases and reversing the aging. reversing the tiredness and boredom they all feel due to aging. That's the real achievement. Understand? All powers are to manifest what you want in your life as reality. If you are able to materialize something, then start using that power every day in your profession, in your career, in your everyday life. Start moving things in your life. Otherwise, what is the use? What is the use of this so-called materialization or other manifestation? Manifestation of powers is to manifest Ishwaratva. Ishwaratva means being Lord of your life. At least your life. Be Lord of your life. Manifest whatever you want. Go on, I tell you, when you start manifesting whatever you want very casually, with a lot of fun, without much effort, without feeling difficulty or anxiety, even once you feel, will it happen or not, Ishvara. Without even remembering like that once, moving things, moving life as flow is Ishwaratva. Understand? Ishwaratva is the smell of Sadashivatva. State, space, powers, manifestation. In this 3 level, Ishwaratva is smell of Sadashivatva. Ishwaratva is flavor of Sadashivatva. Absolute integrity. Whether it is third eye or remote scanning or body vision, any power manifestation, materialization or teleportation, anything. Absolute integrity. Whatever he gave, knowledge, intelligence, powers, understanding, body, mind, relationships, everything, align it to integrity to him. Over. Understand? We have nothing to give him other than our integrity. What else we can give him? You can pour water to clean the deity. You can pour milk to clean the deity. But he is not going to drink it. It is going to come back and you are going to drink it. It's going to come back as prasadam and you are going to drink it. What is the only one thing you can give him? Your integrity to him. When I fell in love with him, that's what I decided. Mahadeva, I'll be integrated to you forever. That is the symbol of love. That is the symbol of love. So in all power manifestation, make sure we are highly integrated. We are highly integrated. Not for anybody else, but for Mahadeva, but for Sadashiva, Akala. Understand? When you are completely integrated to him, the confidence he showers on you is the best power you can have. The confidence, the feeling empowered. I tell you, even if an ordinary person loves you, how much you are empowered, feeling empowered. If Sadashiva loves you, what will happen? Whole universe empowers you. Whole universe is empowering you. Understand? His love is the most empowering. Causeless joy and ecstasy manifests as powers and causes your reality. So, essence of today's satsang. Use all power manifestations every moment. Ultimately, what is power manifestation? The strength of your oneness with me. That's all. The powerful declaration of your oneness with me. Use that every moment to manifest what you want in your life. Declare what you want in your life. Oneness with Swamiji. When the self-doubt comes, complete it. Again declare. It's a war between you and your self-doubt. Till the self-doubt becomes powerless, go on declaring. That is what I call manifesting. Even materialization should be in 3 seconds of your declaration. When you bring yourself to that oneness, let Swamiji express through this body and let it materialize. It should be only 3 seconds. The moment the sankalpa comes out of your mind, within 3 seconds it should come out of your hand. Then it is materialization. Only then it is materialization. Understand, if it is not happening, then there is a self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred. Complete it. Again start. Complete it. Again start. Do it with absolute integrity. And I commit with you all, Sadashiva will manifest. You are all initiated by original brand. I'll give you one example of one story recorded. Mahadeva comes to eat, which is called puttu in Tamil, a breakfast, roughly equivalent to dry idli or powdered idli. That's the way I should call it. Powdered idli. He comes down to eat puttu from a old lady devotee, and then he demonstrates the power of all pervasiveness, where the Pandya tries to beat. Mahadeva, with his ruling staff, which still has the mark. During that incident, Mahadeva manifests, demonstrates the power of all pervasiveness. The stick which has hit Mahadeva's back hits the back of all the animate, inanimate beings. Stavaram jangamam vyaptam. Animate and inanimate. Whole thing experiences that stick. Understand, the power he manifested in that Leela is Stavaram Jangamam Vyaptam. And the sacred secret he demonstrated in that Leela. He comes down to eat the love. Understand, not the pit, but the love. In your life, if you decide, you will eat only, you will perceive, enjoy, receive only the emotions, not the objects. You won't care about the matter, but about the experience. Always be radiating the all-pervasiveness. Understand? Love is the fuel for you to experience oneness. That is what is showing in that one incident. Each incident, he personifies one sacred secret and he manifests that power which is expressed by that one sacred secret. If you want to manifest the power of all-pervasiveness, practice the sacred secret of love being your driving force, not fear or greed. That will establish you in oneness, and that will manifest the all-pervasiveness power. I am receiving messages. I am having initiation, Swamiji. I am manifesting power. Sometimes it is clicking, sometimes it is not clicking. It means you are still in the mood of dating, not in the mood of permanent, settled, long-term relationship. Still you are in the mood of, let me see how... No. Sadashiva is not available for dating. He is available only for a permanent, eternal relationship. This is the country of integrity and stability. The society derives its stability from the integrity of the individuals. Understand? Bring responsibility in your enriching and causing. You will see the intensity in your power manifestation. Responsibility in your enriching and causing. You decide. It is your integrity, your responsibility, your stability. That is going to manifest as powers in you. The sacred secret you need to practice is integrity to responsibility of enriching and causing. If you feel you want to manifest this power more strongly, become a committed cause. So develop a responsible, enriching and causing thought current intensely. You will intensely manifest all these great powers of length, body scanning and healing. This will manifest so intensely. You will be able to do all this remotely. You will be able to perform spiritual surgeries remotely. You will melt tumors, break kidney stones, melt the fat. You will perform even beauty surgeries just through the third eye. Just through the third eye. Understand? You can alter the DNAs just through the third eye. You will manifest intense powers of logic. body scanning and healing. Again, I want to remind you, it is your intense responsibility to enrich and cause. It is your intense commitment to enrich and cause opens your being to Mahasadashiva. Anything which happens as a natural flow, spontaneous flow in your life is powerful cognition in you. Powerful cognition never struggles. That is the law of life. If there is a struggle, some part of you is not having powerful cognition. Whether you want to manifest wealth, health, life, beautiful relationships, enlightenment, joy, anything you want. If you manifest powerful cognitions, one of the most fundamental thing will happen to your life is a free flow expression. Dharma is a spontaneous natural law, manifests due to conscious decision. Listen carefully. But if you consciously decide to practice that cognition with a powerful cognition, the ultimate truth, I am Paramashiva, anything other than this is delusion and pollution in me. When you start practicing this powerful cognition, first it will start expressing in the form of peace. You will find more time you are spending in peace, then more time in bliss, more time in the space of completion, more time happiness, more time settled, more consciousness, more alive, more active, more brilliance. Will naturally manifest all this in your body language, in your biology, in your chemistry, in your physiology, and you will automatically inspire this oozing powerful cognition in others' life, people around you, a natural organic enriching. Natural organic enriching always happens just by your free flow with the. So now, I gave you one example. Again and again and again infusing the ultimate cognition, I am Paramashiva, into your buddhi. Every possible way you can cognizing it. Every possible way manifesting it. Every possible way living it. Decide from now, let Paramashiva reside in this. Understand, never doubt the power of your powerful cognitions. They are 10,000 years you might have abused your body. Even 10 minutes if you invoke Paramashiva, he possesses you. He owns you. He just manifests you. Understand? He does not bother. Light does not bother whether the room was in the darkness for 10 years or 10,000 years. It just comes and lights up. Paramashiva does not bother. You lived in ignorance 10,000 years or 10 years. He enters and just manifests. Immediacy, instant effect of Paramashiva's powerful cognitions is not dependent on the longevity of the practice, but the quality of ability to cognize. It depends on will persistence, conscious decision and will persist. Revival of the Kailasa. Even if you practice little bit, powerful cognitions are such, even practicing little bit releases you, liberates you from the great fears. The state of Paramashiva, pure nirvana, sharira, turiyatita state, pure enlightened space. That state is the state of Paramashiva, where the source of the cosmos vibrates in its existential frequency. The space of Paramashiva means the space in which the integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, completion, these 6 powers manifest and manifest all the possibilities. Understand? Integrity is not rule or restriction or moral. No, it's a power. Paramashiva's space is a power. Integrity is a power. Authenticity is a power. Responsibility is a power. Enriching is a power. Causing is a power. Completion is a power. It is not moral. It is power. If you are struggling with integrity, you are thinking integrity as a rule. If you know, waking up in the morning, Brahma Muhurta and meditating is nothing but manifesting power, your life's purpose, you know, you have a power to expand more powers. You will simply wake up in the Brahma Muhurta and start doing yoga and meditation. Integrity is a power. I really want all of you do this exercise for a few minutes. Where all you feel integrity, authenticity, responsibility and enriching as a binding moral rule, suffocating, pen down. All that spots are your blind spots. You have incompletions there. You need to change your cognitions. You need to complete and manifest powerful cognitions there and realize integrity is power. Authenticity is power. Responsibility is power. Enriching is power. Changing powerless cognitions and adding powerful cognitions is completion. Realizing your integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching is power, not bondage, is living enlightened. Poverty is nothing but economical illegitimacy to your identity. If you build the spiritual identity, right identity, you will manifest economical legitimacy, means wealth. Because of your powerful cognitions, the way you carry yourself is accepted by everyone. The way you live becomes a culture, is cultural legitimacy for you. Bring powerful cognitions in your life, through that bring spiritual legitimacy to your existence, to your identity. With that strength, bring social, cultural, economic legitimacy to your existence. Naturally, you will be able to manifest anything you want. Understand? This whole science, manifesting the space, manifesting the powers, manifesting the being, manifesting the superconsciousness of Paramashiva. Listen. If you bring spiritual, social, cultural legitimacy to you, you will understand this science of living enlightenment is the complete solution for all the problems individual or society or modern day humanity is facing. Then you will understand all the problems of the modern day humanity, Sanatana Hindu Dharma is solution.
On. Hello everybody, welcome back. We listened from Swamiji about how manifesting Shaktis, manifesting powers, is not just about seeing through your third eye or doing body scanning or just materializing something, but the very purpose of the power manifestation itself is for you to manifest the life the way that you want. Especially now, we are looking at the entire world going through a complete back off in various situations, especially after the COVID pandemic rose, whether it's in the sector of health, whether it's in the sector of finance, whether it's in the sector of health, in any field that you see, there has been such a big backlash that has been there and irrevocable damage that has happened to so many people. And especially now, we are looking at a lifestyle, we are looking at many people getting laid off from their jobs. Now the question is, during all of this suffering that is going on, during all of these crises and so much of nonsense that is going on with the entire world, not knowing what is going to happen, especially now there is a prediction of the recession that is going to be happening globally, that's going to be happening. And then there are all these predictions of so much of wars happening in between multiple different countries, so much of instability that is there, and the drop in high big tech companies which are there. Now, while all of this is going on, it puts us through a lot of fear, it puts us through a lot of insecurity, it puts us through a lot in our head. Now, are we going to go by the fear and greed of life, or are we going to manifest the life the way we want? And is it actually possible to manifest the life as we want? The simple and straightforward answer is yes. You can manifest the way that you want. As we listened from Swami just a few moments before,
The way that we manifest this, for us to manifest the powers, to manifest the life as we want, it is through receiving the initiation from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji. And we all have the beautiful to be part of the Paramashivam program. We have the link that is projected for all of us on the right side. So you can all go over and scan the link, scan the QR code which is there, which will help you to go over to the Paramashivam program starting on February 11th. By registering yourself for the program, you will see that you can actually manifest the life as you want. See, whether it is a problem with you not having proper health, or whether it is a problem with respect to you not having enough resources to manifest the life that you want in the dimension of wealth, or it can be in the dimension of relationships, in any dimension that you call. The solution for the problem is not external, but the solution is internal. Swamiji beautifully tells a story. There was a man once who was there, and he is right standing in between the street, under a street light, and he is searching for a ring. And people who walk by, they go to him and they ask, what are you searching for? He says, I lost a very, very important wedding ring that was given to me. So 2 more people help him searching. 15 minutes pass. Another 5 people walk by the same road. And then they see him again searching. 3 people standing and searching. Then they come and join. And they continue to search. Time passes by. The number of people increase. But they are all searching in the same place. Suddenly they get a doubt and they ask, brother, we have been searching for the last 1 hour, but there's no sign of the ring anywhere. Are you sure you dropped it here? Where did you drop it? He says, oh no, I dropped it in the house where I stay. The friend immediately becomes furious and asks, are you fool? When you dropped it in the house, why are you sitting and searching here? He says, there is no light in my house, so I'm sitting and searching here. This is exactly what we are doing. When we are going through so much of suffering, and when we go through problems in our life, be it wealth, be it relationships, be it health, in any field that you call it, when we look at the problem actually is because we do not know where we need to search the solutions. That's the actual problem. The problem itself is not what you are going through, but what kind of diagnosis you are doing and you even need to approach for the solution. That is what we are all lacking. If you look at Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, in our Agamas, in the source scriptures of Hinduism, Paramashiva elaborately in detail gives the definition of various power manifestations and detailed techniques to come out of every problem that we are going through. Actually, not just coming out, but making it irrelevant. And it is through those authentic sources that the entire Paramashivam is being conducted, where Swamiji is reviving, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is reviving all those ancient truths through the Shastra Pramana, validating it through the Apta Pramana, which is the experience of great enlightened masters who have happened in the lineage of the Hinduism, validated by the experience of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and then shared with every one of us as a foolproof method to manifest the life that we want. So I would like to share with every one of you that the solution for any problem that you are going through, you are not going to be able to find solutions outside. That is not going to happen. That is not going to be something that is going to manifest as a reality by searching outside. It is only going to be by looking in and manifesting the reality that you want. And that can only be possible by the initiation of an enlightened master, by the initiation of the avatar of Paramashiva himself, our beloved Swamiji. So I request all the participants and viewers who are sitting and watching us live from all over the world, if you have any doubts and questions, you can always feel free to post it, and make sure that you're heading over to the QR code that is projected, scan it, go to the Paramashivam, Paramashivam website and register yourself. Even if you drop your intention, even if you put your intention that you want to manifest the Paramashivam, you will see that it becomes a reality. So while we take a few moments to go over and register ourselves for the Paramashivam program, we're going to take a few moments and come back together. Thank you. Nithyananda.
A more intelligently connected world leads to a brighter future. An enlightened humanity leads to the Paramashivam program. We help people to discover their superhuman possibilities and help them to find and achieve the true purpose of their birth by giving them the techniques, practices, and methodologies from the Veda Agamas, the original. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving the ancient original Vedas and Agamas in all its glory, in a user-friendly way for the modern mind. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is transforming human beings into divine beings, reviving, initiating, and replicating the 463 powers from the Agamas revealed by Paramashiva. The Supreme Pontiff is giving solutions for every problem man faces, but is making them irrelevant to their lives by transforming human beings into divine beings.
Listen. Any argument presented by your mind, body, your present reality to establish you are not Paramashiva. You are not omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Anything presented to prove you are not Paramashiva is illegitimate. Decide this. This is super determinism. Understand? Anything you declare as illegitimate will lose power over you, will die in few days, few minutes, maybe in few weeks, whatever few days it takes. It will not have power over you. Understand, this is the method for sudden enlightenment. This is the method for sudden enlightenment. It happens by the Shaktipada. Here Paramashiva is sitting to tell you all, you are Paramashiva, you are me, with Shaktipada and Shaktinipada.
The Dvitiya Vijnasa Krama is an extensive and thorough yoga sequence to prepare your body to receive the experience being given by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Through the yoga, which is aligned as per the source scriptures laid down by Paramashiva and the Agamas, you break all the impossibility in your body and in turn break the very cognition of impossibility. The program leads you to go beyond your human frame and limiting human ideas, which prevents you from living your highest possibility.
I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment.
Again I tell you, I am not here to prove I am God, I am here to prove you are God.
Don't wait to become divine. Register now at paramashivoham.org.
Whatever I shared till now, condensing the whole thing and reviving it as experience, starting from completion, unclutching, power manifestation, the states of consciousness and the planes, multiple planes, everything. Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the ultimate journey in a most safest way.
नित्यानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्याधिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. Nithyanandam, I welcome all the viewers and participants to yet another most profound Bhava Samadhi Darshan of the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, manifesting as the 64 manifestations of Paramashiva. And I'm sure all the participants out there are having amazing time just receiving the grace of the Supreme Concept of Hinduism.
Audio
every
is not
single
muted
day.
here. Why?
All these powerful experiences we've been having every day. And today, before we get into the most powerful, this segment is going to focus on one of the very important contributions of Kailasa, the disaster management strategy that the Kailasa has deployed in the recent times that has actually been welcomed by the United Nations itself. The multilateralism approach that the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has guided Kailasa to adopt for the global pandemic, world pandemic, COVID-19, how the response mechanism of Kailasa has endured literally zero infections and zero death during the global pandemic. The whole methodology and the strategy has been welcomed by the United Nations, and a report has been published in its in the forum, and this particular approach, how it is leading the world in terms of having a clear response mechanism whenever a COVID pandemic 19 or similar such events happen. What is the Hindu way to encounter these pandemics? And it is going to be a very interesting segment where we can literally see the vast differences in how the world encountered COVID as opposed to how Swamiji made Kailasa to encounter COVID. It's done something so phenomenal. And that is the very reason of why there is zero infections and zero death in all the Kailasas around the world. So, with no further delay, let us enter into the segment. Firstly, I would like to share with all the viewers that on March 11th, 2019, World Health Organization had declared to the world that we are all under the clutches of this virus COVID-19, and which started as a normal infection in Wuhan city in China. Literally, it spread from one city to the entire China, and then from China to different parts of Asia, and then to different parts of Europe, and then America. Literally, every single country in the world started having COVID-19 infections from people. So initially, what was the methodology that was adopted by people around the world is mainly to isolate the people who they suspect as the carriers of this COVID-19 and ensure that these people are getting the best treatment. So this was the first response that the world had to encounter a pandemic. But Swamiji gave a beautiful vision of how this response mechanism of COVID-19 has to be. So he created Kailasas around the world a multilateralism approach in which, right from isolation, right from sustainable agricultural approach, right from providing food, education, internet, all the facilities within those decentralized communities in such a way that people do not have a reason to go and communicate and spread the disease in the neighborhood. So the whole approach was so encompassing in terms of safety, health hazard, and also empowering the mental health of the people in every little way. The whole approach that Swamiji adopted in all the Kailasas around the world is definitely very advanced, and that is why it has given you the results of zero infections and zero deaths over the last 2 years. So in this segment, we will be also having a couple from Canada who actually was part of this multilateralism approach facility, one of the COVID facilities that we had in Adi Kailasa, and who literally got benefited from this entire COVID facility that Swamiji had created. So before we go into that segment, I just would like to share with all the viewers that Kailasa is leading the whole world in every level. Whatever the globe is facing today as the problems, whether it is in terms of global warming or in terms of gender equality or in terms of education, all the major things that the world is facing today, Swamiji has provided a Hindu way of approaching this problem, and in which the problem exists no more. You can actually solve all these problems from the root level if you start adopting the Hindu methodologies and techniques. That is what Swamiji is doing through Kailasa, and he's establishing this diplomatic relations across different countries to focus on this Hindu methodologies, how to adopt these Hindu methodologies in their countries and ensure that our world is definitely a best place to live in. So if you want to support this mission, you can definitely sign up as sksjp.org/contribute. So So, one of the most important aspects of combating the COVID-19 was providing these quarantine facilities. So, when the whole world was closing their doors, Swamiji opened his Kailasas to one and all, where people can come live. They are provided with free education, free food, free internet services, and the most powerful sacred energy field where you do not feel impacted by COVID at all. So when the first world countries literally closed their borders during the massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its door to one and all without exception. So this is the greatness of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji's compassion to one and all and the humanity. And this is how Kailasa is going to respond to all the global emergencies out there. So if you want to support, sign up as skSJP.org/contribute. And by doing so, you are supporting the entire Kailasa mission. So now let's take a look at the video where Swamiji is explaining why it is important to form this Hindu nation and how it's going to protect the needs of all the Hindus out there.
Many people asked me, Swamiji, why did you leave such a huge empire you built in India and sitting somewhere in one corner for so many years? Be very clear. It's already 3 years. I left India. More than 3 years. Many people asked me, Swamiji, why did you leave such a huge empire you built in India and sitting somewhere in one corner for so many years? Be very clear. It's already 3 years. I left India. More than 3 years. This 3 years is worth because I have done the foundation, legal, protected, internationally protected place first. Not only I have the immunity of non-prosecutable and immunity and protection as the head of the state, sovereign land, which can't be violated, and the embassy status in multiple places, even sovereign land in more than one places. This 3 years is worth because the first things are done first, right things are done first. We have a great future. We don't have to worry. Will there be any end like what happened, what has been done to Asaram Babu's organization? What has been done to Sant Rampal's ecosystem? What has been done to Ram Rahim's ecosystem? What has been done to this Palgar Sadhus and what has been done to Kanchimat? You don't need to worry because I have done the right things first. That's a spend little time, study how each Hindu ecosystem is persecuted in last 100 years. Listen, whether Kanchimat or Asaram Babu or Ram Rahim or Sant Rampal or Shivashankar Baba, all of them, all their organizations, with so much of hard work, they build the Hindu honeycomb. But just some thief comes and robs the whole thing and takes it away. But again, you guys Hindus will work hard and build it like a honeycomb. Again, somebody else will come and steal. Be very clear. I am not interested in this game. That is why I decided very clearly, I will build first proper stone fort, then build a honeycomb so it will stay forever and work forever, support the Hindus forever, keep the Hindu ecosystem forever alive. Be very clear. I understood this secret. I started my public life at the age of 16. Within 10 years, by 25, I understood. Without making a proper protection system, any hard work me and my sannyasis put and build, it will be like a honeycomb. When Kanchi Shankaracharya got arrested, clearly I realized the Samasthana, which had immunity from all prosecution, lasted just 2 generations before, till the India adopted the secular constitution. Kanchimat, Madurayadinam, all of them had immunity from all prosecution in writing, legally valid, from the British government till the British time. Just 2 generations. Now, those gurus are getting prosecuted. Lawfare is being done. False accusations are put. They are prosecuted left, right, center. Of course, Kanchi Shankaracharya proved he is innocent and came out. But what happened to that organization? What happened to that mutt? What happened to himself? Was he able to stand back? The criminally negligent Hindus did not have gratitude for all the work he has done. The criminally negligent Hindus are not realizing the anti-Hindus are attacking the real Hindus because he stood for the Hindus and stick his neck out, his head was cut. That's all. So that is like a message. No one else should stick their neck out for Hinduism. I tell you, I realized this truth. If I don't build the proper legitimate fort, legal protection, even if I work for 100 years and build the Hindu ecosystem, I don't want to say what would have happened. I know very clearly. I know very clearly. I know very clearly. I wanted to tell all my disciples, listen. The good news I have for all of you is, by the grace of Paramashiva, we already have a sovereign territory in more than one place for Kailasa and diplomatic relationship with many countries for Kailasa, and I am safe. We are going to be safe forever. That is the good news I have for all my disciples. So all your effort, you are all putting time, treasure, talent and building this Kailasa. Ever it cannot be hijacked, destroyed by anyone, because I made a proper foundation protection fortress. Then started building the honeycomb. I did the first things first. Be very clear. Be very clear. First things first. Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the
Yes. So we're going to take a look at a short presentation on all the various contributions that Swamiji has done through Kailasa's multi-layered quarantine facilities around the world. Literally in every single spiritual embassy that Swamiji had created, he converted them as a multi-layered quarantine facility where literally free food, free education, free internet services, and so many programs, so many education programs and healthcare is being provided to one and all in such a way that people feel completely protected during this pandemic. So once again, would like to share that when the first world countries closed their borders during this massive global emergency, Kailasa had actually opened its door to one and all without exception. And Swamiji, revealed through Parashakti readings that at least 6 months back, I became aware that multi-layered quarantine facility is needed to protect the people. If you are in India and if you want to protect your immediate family or an extended family, anyone who will listen to you, get them to these campuses. So literally every single spiritual embassy in India was converted as a free COVID care centers, starting from Adi Kailash in Bidadi, Bangalore, to Salem, Tiruvannamalai, all the various Adinams in the world. Every single facility was converted into quarantine facility. And literally, Kailasa rushes to help as India finds itself on the verge of COVID-19 third wave. Multiple COVID care centers were opened, social services were offered, spiritual services were offered, cosmic revelations on global pandemic. Literally, Swamiji graced himself as Devi Parashakti every single day, Arulvakar. Like there were so many millions of people looking for some spiritual solution, some way or the other, how they can literally protect themselves from this ongoing pandemic. So, today, as we see,
understand, literally last 39 years from the age of 5 were manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the ultimate journey in a most safest way. Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the ultimate journey in a most safest way. Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the ultimate journey in a most safest way. Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. yoga for just
Sorry, really apologizing and sorry for the technical glitch. Competing with all the participants. And now let us continue with the segment where we've been discussing about the various contributions Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in terms of protecting the world from the clutches of COVID-19 and a number of free social services that includes free medical care, all different forms of medical care, whether it is allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha medicine, every single natural way of countering the pandemic was provided to one and all in the COVID care protection centers of Kailasa. And there were enough fire safety equipment, maintenance, accommodation was provided to one and all, emergency ambulances, free food, free education, free internet services, organic farming. Huge number of groceries were collected to encounter the pandemic effects. So all these measures were taken by Swamiji to ensure that everybody out there are feeling completely protected with the pandemic. And what you're seeing here is a number of Siddha medicines were all collected, were all prepared, how these Aushadas were prepared and given to all the COVID care participants. So they all feel empowered, and at the same time, their immunity levels are boosted to encounter the effects of COVID pandemic. Yeah, what you're seeing here is special herbal drink was prepared in the Kailasas around the world, and every single day, under the guidance of Swamiji, these Aushada, these herbal drinks were prepared and given to all the participants. So they all feel empowered and safe during the pandemic. Yes. So, yes, now we have participants from Canada, Atul Yadav, and he was in India during the COVID pandemic time, and he actually ensured that he was part of the Adi Kailasa COVID Care Pandemic Center, and he is here today to share his experiences of how he felt being in Adi Kailasa and what are the different changes, whether it is in terms of spiritual impact, emotional impact, and how protected he felt during the pandemic. So it is my pleasure to welcome Atul Yadav from Canada, who's here to share his experiences of being in Kailasa's COVID care centers.
Nithyananda Ma, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to share my experiences with the group. It was really, I would say, magical initially, and then the magic was so many that it was a part of my life. It ended up being a part of my life in the end. So I could not believe the way things were happening. For example, before we even went to live inside, we just visited 4 months back. And obviously we could not go inside because we didn't have test and there were rules to stop at the gate. So we asked Maharaj to give our offerings for the deities. So Maharaj said that come next time. And we were like, we are going to Canada in a couple of weeks. We won't come. So he said, you will come, Aya. So I couldn't believe at that time what he said, but then we ended up living there for 45 days, 4 months later. So literally, I mean, I'm a very logical man. I'm an engineer by background, and I think everything by logic, step by step. And after living there for 45 days, I'm a different person. I believe in magic now, and it's a part of my life. So the logic has really disappeared, and it's more about magic now. Swamiji can do anything, and we start our planning with Swamiji and fit. We, when we eat food, every time I offer to Kal Bhairava, imagine I'm in Adi Kailasa and I offer at his feet and then we eat. So this has been a part of our life, and there's been magic from day one till today in terms of job. So I just got a job couple of days back. So before this experience, I would stress about it, about the experience. And after coming from Adi Kailasa, I don't stress anymore. I think very strongly that Swamiji is taking care of me in every part of my life. So with this strong cognition, everything is so taken care of. You feel that Swamiji is there in every part of our life. He also blessed us with enlightened babies, and we are on the way. It's 5 months. So he only plants the intent and then he takes care of it. So I just go with the flow, me and my wife, and everything is manifesting so beautifully that you just have to be a part of it and enjoy the journey. That's what I can say. So many blessings. I mean, when I just entered inside, I got a colored dream that Swamiji is, putting kumkum on my forehead, and there's this Kalash Yatra, and I had no idea what that was. Then I discussed next day with, and this is a typical welcome which takes place with Kalash Yatra. So it has been magical from day one till today, I would say. We got our visa. We were in a tight situation when we went there. And almost every week we broke down in terms of the stress we had. And magically, someone will just appear and help us with that situation. They will do a third eye scans and inform us that things will take care automatically. And every time we fell into stress, someone was there, or someone will appear from somewhere and they will just take care of us. So I would say it started with unbelievable things, which was magic. Now, it's part of my life, and I'm really uh, thankful that I was there. It was magical, and whenever I could, I would definitely go there. And it's a part of my play in my home now, Kailasha ecosystem. I wake up with that cognition, sleep with that cognition. We visit Kailasha, Toronto here quite a lot. So it has been a magical journey so far.
That's beautiful, Atulji. Also wanted to know from you, how, what made you to join in Kailasa's COVID care centers? What was the main aim for you? I'm sure the times that you were in, India was facing severe impact because of COVID. And what really made you to join the COVID care centers?
So, in one word, it was Swamiji. I mean, he literally wanted us there. I mean, in a couple of reading, it was revealed that Swamiji has personally intervened to, bring us there, because we had no plans, honestly. We had clear intention to go to Canada. We have filed a visa, but somehow it got rejected, and Swamiji literally pulled us there. So my wife told me that that is the safest place to go in COVID situation, and we both lost our job because we planned to come to Canada. So she said that is the safest place. Let's go there. And given the process, it was so, I would say, organized. We have to give a medical test a couple of days before, and then the COVID test. So we literally felt safe before even entering inside. And then there was this stringent COVID, situation when you have to quarantine for at least 10-15 days, a separate area. So you really feel safe in that environment. And
yes, so
there were
like
these similar
what
rules
Atulji is,
outside quarantine, but
yeah, sorry. So just want to add, Atulji, see, the entire process of how the participants were isolated, having a double-layered quarantine, where you get all the supplies in first-level quarantine, and the second-layer quarantine where the participants and all the inmates, everybody stayed, is completely, isolated from the rest of the world. So the entire procedure was set by Swamiji himself. Right, in terms of what are the tests that somebody has to take before they enter, and how you should scan the person, and how each and every supply, whether it is milk, whether it is food, which entrance it has to come, and if there is any emergency needs, how should the ambulance exit, from which door it has to exit. To that level, Swamiji literally planned and made sure that it was happening. So the whole methodology that Swamiji outlined, everything was recorded in one of our reports to United Nations, and which was acknowledged and published as one of the best methodologies for a multilateralism approach to combat COVID-19. So, as you were saying, like there were all the participants unilaterally felt so safe in the environment, and it's a huge campus of more than 50 acres, where literally you feel that you can breathe air, especially that is one of the factors that many of the participants shared, because living in two-story apartments, and especially if you cannot get out of the apartment because of the ongoing pandemic, people used to feel so suffocated those moments, those times. And being in Adi Kailasa, literally you have so much of fresh air. You can move around. You can literally have your own space. That is something which a lot of participants really felt so grateful to Swamiji. As you were sharing that, I just wanted to add this one thought. Yes, please go ahead, Atalaya.
True, Ma. So I was just discussing that normally these restrictions are there in multiple hotels and places. But as you mentioned, the campus was so big that we could literally breathe and walk around while we are quarantining in the quarantine area. For example, the area we could go to Laughing Temple and spend our evenings there. Monkeys kept us busy. So it was really fun, and it was not at all sad because it was not a two-story building. It was a big campus. You can walk around, you can breathe. So when we came out of the campus finally, we could not adjust for a couple of days because inside it was such such freedom to walk around, so peaceful, and you have that spiritual environment. So it takes some time to adjust to outside world once you live there for a long time. That was a beautiful experience, and I could never forget that, and I would always go back if there's a possibility.
That's beautiful. Would you like to also share about the completion that you have experienced in your relationships while being in Adi Kailasa?
Yes, ma'am. That was really intense. So we could not realize that once we were there for a week or two, we literally felt very, very tired, and all the feelings were coming out. And we were not normally like that, both of us, But then we asked people, and we had multiple readings, and then Swamiji revealed in those readings that this is a place meant for this. You will need to do completion. So he shared an analogy in one reading that before we kill a snake, we bring it out. Process right now. We're bringing out your incompletions to complete. So I'm working on your body. So that phase is really challenging also sometimes because a lot of incompletions are coming out. Is working on your body. It's very, very unique experience. And in the end of the day, it was very, very tiring and sometimes frustrating. But you understand the whole process manifest, and you become a much better person in the end of the day, and things manifest so beautifully.
That's beautiful, Atalji. Also, would you like to share, how was the Indians, being with other COVID care participants, coming from different background, how did you get along, and what was the connecting thread amongst all of you, and that kept you really blissful throughout this journey?
So, Bob, obviously we are from different states. Languages also didn't match sometimes, but the connecting thread was Swamiji. Everyone, when we talk about Swamiji, his magics in our life, we feel so lively, and we share with each other, and that gave us really energy and the power to drive through the day because we were quarantined, living separately. So we all were come from different backgrounds, living separately, but that common thread of Swamiji's magics, the way he has changed our lives. Literally, it used to lighten up everyone discussing. And you learn from a lot of their experiences. They learn from yours, the kind of books you should read, practices, meditation, impact. And it has really changed. For example, there were devotees who can talk to deities just closing their eyes, and it was really magical. And then you believe in things more and more, especially for me because I'm an engineer. So I drive everything. I used to drive things from logic, and now it has completely changed. So, I mean, people are talking about normal living with magic there, talking to deities while just closing their eyes. Some, for example, when Ayya, uh, basically, he was diagnosed with cancer 20 years back, and he was still living happily with Swamiji. So those things really defy logic, and then slowly you accept that logic is something very small when it comes to Swamiji. He can do anything. And those discussions with people while in quarantine, while outside, walking just in the campus, really goes with us and guides us. And I'm still in touch with a lot of them. They guide me with reading, with talking to Swamiji. It's beautiful.
That's really nice, Ayya. Also, would you like to share your experiences in Adi Kailasa temple? That is one of the other important contributions that Swamiji had given to the world, where literally all the temples around the world were closed, but literally in Adi Kailasa, every single day we used to have Brahmotsavam, such a grand celebration. The most important contributions of
Sure, Ma. So I've only seen temple puja in the YouTube videos and in Zoom. So that was a very different experience for me, honestly. Going to temple for the first time, deities and the Kalpataru Vriksha behind it was, I would say, meditative. Sit under the tree and just relax. I mean, there were no thoughts. I sat there for 2 hours once, straight go. And honestly, in our home, working environment, I've never sat for half an hour without any thoughts. And there I could sit peacefully for 2 hours non-stop. There was no discomfort. I was just in a blissful state. So that was a very different experience. The deities were so lively. And luckily, I got the chance to do Abhishekam of a lot of deities. And that is something I can never forget. I did Abhishekam of Kalbhairava, Guru Dakshinamurti, Devi, Swamiji. And that is one experience which was so powerful that it's difficult to describe. And at that time, honestly, I was not aware what's happening. I was quite new in the ecosystem. I was witnessing something which I could not experience. I could not explain in words. And now I feel so fortunate that I was there. I did Abhishekam. It was really, really a strong experience in terms of spirituality. And, in just 45 days, I was a different person. I came out of Adi Kailasa.
Understand, literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experientially in these 21 days through this Jnana Charya, Jnana Kriya, Jnana Yoga, Jnana is Mahaparamashivoham. Lifestyle for just Paramashiva. Rituals to be just Paramashiva. Yoga for just being Paramashiva. Jnana, just Paramashiva. This Mahaparamashivoham is like literally the ultimate journey in a most safest way. You will become Paramashiva. Understand? Literally last 39 years from the age of 5, whatever Paramashiva manifested through teaching, speaking, writing, every way, condensing the whole thing and presenting it to you all as experience.
Nithyanandam. So just to summarize, it was the safest experience in terms of COVID protocols and a magical journey, a start of my beautiful journey, I would say. And I'm still in the beginning stage, but that the journey of 45 days in the COVID center literally expedited that. And as they say, that one day in Adi Kailasa is like 10 years outside. So that was the pace of our journey in terms of incompletion. Quickly they were completing, and my spiritual journey, my belief, my the willpower, the strength. So that was a magical experience. And yep, this brings us towards the close of this segment. Thank you, Nithyanandam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was
Shreya.
really a very beautiful sharing that you shared. Actually, sharing about the way how the life is in Adi Kailash, the ecosystem, the enlightened ecosystem that Swamiji has created, and the infinite compassion that Swamiji has when he opened the doors for anybody to come and take shelter during the COVID, when the pandemic had hit the world. And also at the time where people shut down, and people, like many of the workers were laid off and companies were shutting down, people were all closing it. There was so much of fear amongst people, to such an extent that even social interaction became a fear factor for people, because it was a question of their lives, right? And at that time, one of the biggest tyaga a person can do is to give everything of what that person has to the world. And that's exactly what Swamiji did. Not one or two, in 5 places, Swamiji had opened this COVID care centers. And whether it is the medicines, or whether it is the taking care of, work from home, making it available for people to even adapt to this work from home kind of a culture. And every aspect, whether it is the food, whether it is the medicines, whether it is the hygiene and health, and even not just cure, but even prevention of COVID. So the 7-layer quarantine that Swamiji had created, each of this is something phenomenal. And this is really an example of what the vision of Kailasa stands for, where humanity ends to where humanity stops its peak capability of helping others. That is where Swamiji starts. What is the last frontier of what humanity can help, what extent humanity can go to help another person. That is the threshold of where Swamiji starts with serving the humanity. Whether it is giving the superconscious breakthrough for a person, or whether it is walking a person out of cancer, or whether it is preventing the whole of humanity from experiencing or being succumbing to the COVID. Each aspect of this is extremely powerful. Atulji, I just have a question to ask you. The life outside, right? Like during the pandemic, how was it? For me, because like I do not know how it was. Like I would say, for me, being in the Kailasa ecosystem and being protected. So I just wanted to understand as to what kind of a life it was outside when the pandemic hit the world.
It was really scary, I would say. I used to live in Gurgaon when I was in India, and it was really, really scary. I have seen people struggling for oxygen cylinders and beds in hospitals. There are people suffering from COVID but could not get the right health care. It was really scary, and we all were sitting in our houses, in our rooms, scared to even go step out of the house. And so it was, as Ma mentioned, it was suffocating. So you wake up and then you work in your room and then you sleep in the same room. We just, we actually used to get scared walking on our own terrace also sometimes, because that's scary, especially in Delhi and Gurgaon. The cases rising, and the second and third wave was really, really very impactful there. So I've seen a lot of my friends, family suffering from COVID, and there was a strong fear, people losing lives. So it was a very stressful environment, I would say. And we used to step out once, really suffocating in a room or in a house, and no interaction with people, even neighbors.
That is what you go through. Like, what was the impact of it for your mental health? How was it for you to handle it as a person, seeing this, like where you're, as you said, like you're not able to even access a part of your own house, right? It's something like so much of fear being inside you. How was it for you? How did it impact you, your well-being, your mental well-being?
So, ma'am, before the pandemic, I had a very active office life. I used to travel a lot. Once in a week, I used to travel multiple states, and it was quite happening. So after COVID, first time in my life, it was that suffocation I felt staying at home every day. And it really impacts your mental health, because you are working in a setup in a professional service environment where you need to use your mind from start towards the end of the day. And you can't think, because there's no positive energy. I mean, it's just a room lower sunlight. You can't just go out for fresh air. So it really impacts your thought process, your mental health beyond a point. So it really gets you thinking about the life, other thing which I never thought before. It was really suffocating. I would say you go back in your mental health, go down a bit. So that was the point when we thought that we should go ahead.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, as you're sharing this, I wanted to highlight an important factor. It is not just people who are affected due to COVID, that faced a lot of loss, but even people who just a very change in the society, the collective mass, there was a huge impact in the mental health of people. Like the socializing, the whole socializing in society was completely cut off. So it was not like that whole factor was removed. Like you were sharing, you were a person who was so used to traveling and who was so used to that kind of a lifestyle, and suddenly a complete change, and that suffocation that you were explaining, right? That's a very big factor that many of the people were suffering during the whole COVID pandemic. So you were saying that you were traveling outside and that kind of an active life you were living, and suddenly pandemic hit and the whole world changed, everything completely changed. And when you came to the Adinam, right, living in this enlightenment ecosystem that Swamiji had provided, even there, you were not traveling, you're just going to be there in the enlightenment ecosystem. What was it that was so phenomenally different for you? Because earlier you were mentioning how that actually helps you emotionally, spiritually, and strengthens you from the inside. How did that happen? Because even here, you're not going to be traveling outside. You're going to be in one place. I mean, the place is so huge, so I can't say it's just one place. But just being within that enlightenment ecosystem, what was so different for you?
That's true, Ma. I mean, when we went inside, we didn't come out to 45 days. You were right in that way that
45 days. You were right in that way that
but but it was quite different. For example, in our house, it just have, three, four rooms, and you are scared of, even your family members, you even interacting with them.
when your family members,
But
you even interacted with
when
them.
we were
When
in
you
Adi Kailash, it was
article
a huge place.
it was
As I mentioned
huge
earlier,
place.
there
As I mentioned earlier,
was this spikes.
yeah, there was this spikes.
So it was quite different, man. We were exploring and we were
It was
slowly
quite
getting
different,
to
and we
know
were
that
exploring and
every
we were
part of
slowly
the
getting to
ecosystem
know that every part of the
is so
ecosystem
blessed, energized.
is so blessed,
The
energized.
place, the temple, everything was
The
listen a
place, the
lot of
temple, everything was. I
magics
listen a lot of
happened in
magics
others'
you
life
know
in
happened in
quarantine
others' life in
area. When
quarantine
we went outside the quarantine area,
area.
people,
When we
we
went
used to go to
outside the
Kal Bhairava
quarantine
gate
area,
every day and
we
sit
used to
there
go
for
to
three,
Kal
four
Bhairava Gate
hours
every
just
day,
at
sit
peace.
there.
So quite different. I mean, earlier, before even going to Adi Kailasha, before we could not even, we were so impatient even waiting for a cab for 2 minutes. And in Adi Kailasha, we used to sit for 4 hours in front of Kal Bhairava Gate, and we were so peaceful. So that was a major change, I would say, which came into my life at least. It was so meditative. You just sat there. That's it. So peacefully. Just listen to, the different mantras there. It was so peaceful. That was a major change. I used to learn to sit myself. A lot of completions happening, inspiring stories about people, how Swamiji has magically helped people, their great journeys, and that was it. I mean, that ecosystem kept us, uh,
That
I would say,
ecosystem kept
happy the whole day. And we were so tired, and a lot of incompletions were coming out. Still, it was so beautiful from morning to evening.
people from morning to evening.
Beautiful, Aya. Thank you so much for sharing that, because what you shared has a very important point here. Today, so much technological advancement. Definitely, when we look back, just a decade before. Surely we as a whole humanity have progressed a lot technology wise. People have become more and more mature in many different aspects, and we are in a time where literally even artificial intelligence can be used for everything, and we get many things at our bay much easier. But one thing that humanity is lacking, or I would say falling back, is the ability to sit with yourself. See the kind of things that are trending today. You see TikTok videos, which are getting just one minute videos, they are trending. Shorts, YouTube shorts are trending. All these kinds of more and more less listening span or view span, such things are what that are trending, because we as humans are becoming more and more restless. We are losing the ability to sit with ourselves. But what you got in the enlightenment ecosystem given by Swamiji is the ability to sit with yourself, ability to be in completion with yourself. Actually, all the viewers, just take a moment now. Just for 5 minutes, try pausing whatever you're doing and just try sitting with yourself. How many of you, even if you are sitting, trying to sit, your mind is not there with you. It suddenly wants to go jump and take the phone. Suddenly you hear the notification sound and you want to go and check what's the message over there, even though you know it's just probably an offer message that just these companies keep sending, or just an ad. But you still want to go open it and see. Your mind is restless. But what Swamiji has given an extremely amazing boon for us is the ability to be in completion with yourself. That builds the inner stamina inside you. That builds the conscious stamina for you. See, we can take supplements, do workouts, and get physical stamina. But to have the conscious stamina, you need to have that ability to sit with yourself. Atulji shared very beautifully how Swamiji had given that to you. I also wanted to know, so when you came here, this enlightenment ecosystem, Swamiji, you were sharing about what all amazing things Swamiji had provided. Could you shed more light on how that, what Swamiji has provided, made an impact to you as a Hindu? Meaning, when you saw all these things, you are a Hindu by birth and you have been living and you've been going to temples from your childhood, right? But when you came to Adi Kailash and you saw that the enlightenment ecosystem, the spiritual enlightenment ecosystem is there, and so much everywhere you see, be it the temple which is filled and made of Rudrakshas, or the deities, the numerous deities in every corner of the place. And you see that whether the clothing or the mantras that you hear or the food that you eat, everything is as per the agamas. How did it impact you as a Hindu?
So, Ma, honestly, before going to Adi Kailasa, I'm a born Hindu, but the definition of Hinduism was quite superficial for me. I mean, for me, being a Hindu was doing puja, going to temples sometimes, and the extreme case was doing meditation and just have small uh, mental satisfaction. That was the highest bar I could think of as a Hindu, as experience I can experience as a Hindu. But when I went to Adi Kailash, I was shocked to understand that Hinduism is a lively ecosystem which is beyond just few minutes of mental peace. It was beyond just chanting few mantras. Understanding those mantras was really, really so impactful. And as Swamiji mentioned, I mean, I never believed in this magic before Adi Kailasa. I mean, straightforward logic guy and scientific guy. But after that, I realized that everyone, including me, can live a life with full control. I can control my life. with third eye manifestations. I can understand my whole life and control. Swamiji manifests it such beautifully. So, I mean, before that, we used to go to temples and everything, but the expectation was so low, honestly, from me that I can't blame the ecosystem outside Adi Kailasa for that. I mean, my extreme expectation was just a good meditation I used to find on YouTube. And there's always this calling that it has to be beyond this. But when I was in Adi Kailasa, I was shocked that it can be so lively. The details were so lively that I could feel the energy. I could feel the energy in soil, in just walking in the place, sitting in front of Kal Bhairava for so many hours. I could feel so powerful that now I control my life. I mean, I just ask Swamiji and he just manifests for me. So as I mentioned, after Adi Kailasa, I am not stressful or nervous about even bigger things like getting a job or bigger things in life. I just leave it to Swamiji and I just relax and do what I can. That's a major change in terms of the way I view the ecosystem now and before.
Actually, just to add to what you were sharing, right? One thing is Swamiji is so lively. You were sharing how like everybody thinks Hinduism means, at least it's a very common understanding that we have, a myth I would say, that it means you just just sit, like close your eyes, do meditation, and that's Hinduism. But it's only Swamiji who is so full of life and so cool. Like any age person, be it a small kid to an extremely old person, anybody can easily relate to Swamiji.
And the most important factor here is that it is so easy for us to say, "Hey, I'm a Hindu." When we are having everything, and with whatever little things that we do, and when we're all set in life, but during the crisis, when you face things where literally people's lives were at question at that point in time during the COVID quarantine, and at that time, that is the real time that how a person responds to in a crisis is how that person really is. And here, Swamiji had actually opened up all of Swamiji's, literally his adinams, his campuses for everyone. Swamiji said, no matter if you are a Hindu or you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, it doesn't matter. Or you're from whichever country. All it matters is stay safe, stay alive, and be healthy. And you just come and stay here in the campus. I will provide everything for you, right from your internet, right from your, food, everything I'll provide it for you. That was very a very important lesson for humanity to learn, that how Swamiji made the whole thing happen.
And also, just to add to this, now, see, once we experience something, right? See, now, maybe 100 years before, your ancestors, they sacrificed so that what they are experiencing as Hinduism at least can be kept alive, so that now you can. Now, seeing the way how Sanatana Hindu Dharma is getting persecuted, and anybody that is standing up for Hinduism gets persecuted, like how Swamiji has been for a decade-long persecution that Swamiji has been facing, and despite of which Swamiji is working and making Kailasa happen. The important thing in this is we need to take responsibility for what we have gotten. The benefit that we receive should be experienced by the next generation. And for this, actually forget next generation. Even just 5 years down the lane, if you want what you're experiencing now to be alive, it is very important that you take responsibility for this. See how cool it is, right? Like right now, we are sitting and manifesting powers. Who would have known? Atulji, you've been in a, like, okay, you're born Hindu. Did you ever imagine that in this century we could ever manifest powers? Forget century, in this yuga, would you have ever thought that we could manifest powers? absolutely, like it's not even a part of our cognition. But see what Swamiji has gifted to us. What Swamiji has revived and continuing to revive. Even now, we have still not even seen the tip of the iceberg of the work, humongous work that Swamiji is doing and the vision Swamiji has. We are still, we are like enamored by the things that Swamiji has been showering. Actually, live as we are talking, I'd also like to read out the comments. As people are listening to our conversation on YouTube and Facebook, there are a lot of them responding, and each of them are talking. So just before I hand it over to Atulji, I just wanted to read out these comments here. So we have Ma Gabby Haim, who's expressing her gratitude to Swamiji and Sangha, and Ma Nisha Bahadur, who's saying wow, and a lot of you are posting. I'd like to request every viewer that are watching us to let us know your thoughts when you listen to this and when you hear it coming from Atulji and how he experienced this in his personal life. I'd like to request every one of you here. I know many of you that are sitting here and watching us from different corners of the world have been did come to the COVID care quarantine center, and also many of you who are listening to this. How do you feel when you listen to this? Please let us know in the comment section. And yes, Atulji, back to you. You can go ahead.
Thanks, Pa. Just wanted to add one more point because I'm just a starter in the ecosystem, honestly. And I'm sure, like me, there are hundreds of people who believe that manifesting powers or experiencing magic is a long journey. I mean, but I just want to burst this myth here that it's not that way. I mean, I'm just an year old in the ecosystem, and initially, while just entering Adi Kailasha, I have seen magic and Swamiji manifesting in so many beautiful ways. So just not hold back yourself, whoever is just starting like me, and don't expect things to move very slow, or you need to go into meditation for hours in a day before you manifest a part of it. Swamiji can do in first day of you joining the ecosystem. So because that was my misconception before I started my journey, that okay, manifesting powers experiences is something uh, maybe 10 years down the lane. If I start my journey today, something which is done by people who are more experienced, living in Adi Kailasa only. But this is something I have experienced myself, that there is no rule to this journey. You don't expect something happening 5 years later. It can happen on day one of your journey in the ecosystem.
That is so true. Absolutely, like nobody should miss out on this. That is so true, Aya. And Aya, I just wanted to ask you, uh, what is the background like, just to understand, like, what is the background of you, like, what kind of a
Sure, ma'am.
job or what are you doing?
So, ma'am, basically, I did my BTech from IIT Delhi, and then I worked with PwC India for 7 years. So, I am a tech consultant. So, as Ma mentioned, AI possibilities. So, I work in that field. So, basically, AI, ML, and I've advised government in India on a lot of issues. How can data and analytics improve the life in terms of the social space and consulting? So, I was an advisor to government and private sector in data analytics space back in India. And now I just finished my MBA from Canada and will starting a job soon in the data analytics domain. So, a typical, I would say, template in India, you do your BTech and then a job and then you go for MBA. But now with Swamiji, I don't think of this template anymore, and the possibilities are unlimited.
So, Aya had also mentioned that you never met Swamiji in person. You just watched some videos and attended a program and experienced the enlightenment ecosystem. I just wanted to ask you, I think IIT is a profession many of the youth in India or like around the world want to be a part of. Like they choose that and they start going in IT and software and this kind of a field. Do you think they also need this enlightenment ecosystem? Because when I was outside, just I think it's been 10 years since I met Swamiji now. 10 years before, for me, spirituality was God, it's not for us. It's for old people who are like, they're done with life. They want to just go sit and meditate. It's for them. And the day I met Swamiji, it was like I just here. And the day I met Swamiji, I joined Gurukul, and then I became part of this ecosystem. And after that, never looking back ever. Just want you to share a perspective. How do you think that the current youth, the modern generation, do they need this enlightenment ecosystem? Do they need Kailasa? If so, why? What do you want to say for those viewers?
Definitely, Ma. So, as you mentioned, I also had the same expectation that spirituality is something after 60. At max, you just meditate for a couple of minutes in a day, and then you feel accomplished in spirituality, basically. Or you read maybe Bhagavad Gita for some time, and you feel that you have done a lot in spirituality in your age. So exactly that was my perception before I came to Adi Kailasa. And I think after that, so thing is, I mean, you go to IIT, you are quite settled in your career, but in terms of the quality of life, I mean, if you achieve a lot, then there's always the stress of maintaining it. And there's always this hard work to justify your job. You spend up working 10 to 12 hours a day. So you forget the blissful living and you acquire the stressful living life. So that takes toll on your life. So as I mentioned, when I was in the COVID situation, when you sit at home, then you realize the impact it has on your mental health. So I would say, I mean, it's a different orientation. You go to IITs and you become logical. Somehow you stop your possibilities, basically. You try to control everything on your own. But the thing is, we don't know what's best for us, but Swamiji does. So I would highly recommend every one of us in our family. Also, I recommend my younger sister, brother, that please do this. It is not something meant after old age or something which will take your time. It's something which will help you in your journey. It's important to live blissfully, and Swamiji will take care of everything. It's important, I mean, for youngsters, even if they don't understand the spiritual ecosystem, but they do understand the powerful ecosystem that they can manifest powers. I think that should be a starting point for them to start manifesting powers, and then they understand the importance and the benefit of this ecosystem. So that's something, because the youth nowadays are quite stressful in terms of career, in terms of their personal life. And this is one thing which can help them live blissfully and control their lives positively.
Thank you. Yeah, that was so beautiful. I think just to summarize, I would say we see this Instagram versus reality. All these kind of videos trend a lot on social media. But did you know actually you could live a cool life in your real life? That is what is living in as a part of Swamiji's enlightenment ecosystem needs. Because you don't need any effects or editing or any kind of those things to make you look cool or be cool, because you can actually live cool by manifesting these powers of Paramashivam, where you have the ability, for example, the power of Sarvanyatva. Just sit wherever you are and connect with Swamiji, download from the cosmos any knowledge you want. Literally having the whole Google downloaded in your brain, you have that ability. So these kind of powers is what Swamiji initiates us into, which are very practical and you can use it in your day-to-day life. And now it is time to be a part of this ecosystem, to protect it. Each one of you, just imagine and see. Today you're experiencing this, but how sure are you that tomorrow your sons or your daughters are also going to be able to experience this? Even now, we are not having, except for what Swamiji is reviving now. Otherwise, Hindus do not know what is Hinduism. That's the state that we are in. So it's very important that we all collectively take the responsibility for this collectively be a part of this. And for that, the whole work to make this entire nation of Kailasa happen, there's this one person's work, Swamiji. There's this one person's hard work, tireless hard work, with continuous sacrifice everything. At the age of 3, who would have ever thought about the purpose of life? But Swamiji did. Swamiji's first Chaturmasa was at his age of 3. Just at his age of 3, Swamiji did the Chaturmasa. And he started laying the seed for Maha Kailasa at that age itself, tender age of 3.
And today, Swamiji, as a boy, actually, we have to describe Swamiji in a layman term. It is like a boy from a remote village in southern India who did actually, if we just visit back Swamiji's life, and Swamiji got the vision that the Western headquarters will be in Los Angeles. Swamiji's first response was, what is Los Angeles? So someone starting from the scratch, from the ground today, Swamiji has created a nation for Hindus, a place to call home for Hindus, where 56 nations completely came down to zero. Here there's a place Swamiji has created a nation itself, built a nation, established nation. And today, Kailasa has established diplomatic relations successfully with so many countries around the globe. And people, for the first time, in the United Nations, the persecution on Hinduism was voiced. It was from Swamiji, from Kailasa. And so many things like this, Swamiji has sacrificed his whole life to give a place for Hindus, to bring legitimacy to Hindus. So everyone, when many of us, a common mindset amongst Indians, not just Indians, anywhere, is, after we pass from college, go to a good university, study there, after that, everything is set, all fine, then you get a job, get married and settle down. But there's something more to look in life, beyond what we understand as money, beyond what we understand as relationships, and a lot more than that. And especially every Hindu, we have a responsibility to own. We have our religion, Hindu, Veda Mata, who gave us all these sciences. Hindus gave 0, and because of which maths had a huge breakthrough. Hindus have contributed in every field: architecture, arts, culture, science, religion, language, literacy, even GDP. Till few hundred years before, we were contributing to almost 64% of the global GDP, and a lot more. And today, what Veda Mata had given us, she is being persecuted and attacked. And we have a responsibility to own. And Swamiji is standing as the sole representation of that responsibility. So every single person that listened to this sharing, beautifully Atulji had shared this perspective. Every one of you that listened to this, if you resonate saying, yes, what am I doing out here? I should be a part of this happening. Go ahead and sign up. Become a part of this mission of Kailasa. Whether you want to become as a Sarvajñapita Yajaman, or you want to become as a sannyasi and stand up, please take the action now. When your inner space is giving the call, don't miss it. Be a part. And as a Hindu, each of us have a responsibility to take. Each of us have a huge responsibility to shoulder. And Swamiji has already taken it on himself. And at least we can do the least of being a part of this mission, because Swamiji is pulling the whole chariot single-handedly. And we, as Hindus, as the youth, and everyone who feel for Hinduism, we need to be a part of it. So every one of you that listen to it and you feel like you have to be a part of it, go ahead and take the action. And the link to sign up is projected right here in the on the screen. So you all can sign up there. Let us know your intention, and our team will reach out to you to let you know the further details.
Thank you so much, Atulji, for joining us and sharing your experience. It was wonderful to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma Nithyanandam.
Thank you, Nithyanandam. And yes, I can see so many viewers here responding, and so many viewers actively posting your reactions and responses in the comment section. And I hope this was a very, very engaging and interesting sharing. So Now it is time for all of us to get ready for one of the most awaited segments of the day. For all of us, we're all going to be having the darshan of Trupurantaka Murthy and Vrishabharuda Murthy. So let us all get ready for the Bhava Samadhi darshan, and all the participants that are sitting here in the two-way video conferencing, all of you who are blessed to receive the Naina Diksha, I request all of you to please come on your camera and settle down. Let us all get ready for the Bhava Samadhi darshan. This form of Paramashiva is actually very, very related to what we all were having as a conversation today. Just sometimes, like just this conversation that all of us were listening to, because it is in this form of Paramashiva that Paramashiva destroys the Tripurasuras, and he destroys all the people who try to stand up, who try to do against humanity. And Paramashiva takes responsibility, not just on behalf of planet Earth, but even on behalf of all the gods and goddesses. He goes to wage the war and he fights with the Tripurasuras to protect the gods and goddesses. And Trupurantaka Murthy is a very powerful form of Paramashiva. And similarly, we are also going to be having the darshan of Vrishabharuda Murthy, the form of Paramashiva that graced on the Vrishabha. As we're all getting ready for the Bhava Samadhi darshan, I'd like to remind all the viewers that are watching us on YouTube and Facebook, Bhava Samadhi darshan is a very sacred process. Bhava means attitude or aspect through which you connect to the divine. Sama means oneness. Adi means source. So the very word Bhava Samadhi has a beautiful meaning. It means connecting, experiencing oneness with the source through a particular aspect. Many of us might have been to temples. You might have visited the temples of Paramashiva, Devi, Ganesha, and so many temples like this. We all can connect to deity as a representation of the consciousness, but to be able to relate, to be able to mirror and reflect that highest consciousness that a deity radiates, human beings are not matured for that. And that is why, out of extreme compassion, an avatar happens to bridge that gap, to give us the experience of these higher states of consciousness, and that is Bhava Samadhi darshan. During the Bhava Samadhi darshan, every different deity that Swamiji channels for us, in that time when you connect to Swamiji, all the powerful components, all the powerful cognitions of that deity gets awakened in you. So today, when we're all having the darshan of Trupurantaka Murthy and Vrishabharuda Murthy, connect to this form of Paramashiva and offer all your prayers. You can post it in the comment section, and you can offer all your prayers to Swamiji, this form of Swamiji, and just Swamiji's eyes falling on your prayers is enough. It will energize, it will add, Swamiji will infuse it with life energy for you to manifest. And now, let's all get ready to receive the Bhava Samadhi darshan. We will now be chanting the Dhyana Shloka. The Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavan Trupurantaka Murthy.
Chaturbhujam Trinetram cha Mrigam Parashudharinam Dhanurpana Samayuktam Umaya Sahitam Tatha Sarvabharana Samyuktam Divyabharana Samanvitam Patram Dadham Vamakarne Dakshine Kundalanchitam Upavita Samayuktam Samabhangayutam Shivam Jatamakuta Samyuktam Vilasad Vidrumangakam Evam Tripura Samharam Rupam Rokam Mahatmabihi.
The next is the Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavan Vrishabharuda Murthy. Salve Syadvakratundanvitam Katakaram Gopeta Prishtastatham वामर्धस्य दक्षं वरकरयुगले टङ्ककुश्रम् कालस्ताक्षं प्रसन्नं त्रिनयनं लसितं भववेणिकिरीटम् वामे गौर्या समेतं नमतं शुभकरं तं वृषभारूढमीशम् The next is the Dhyana Shloka of Rishabhantika Murthy, the form of Paramashiva that adorns the Vrishabha deity. Chaturbhujam Trinetram cha Mrigam Parashudharinam Tanurvana Samayuktam Umaya Sahitam Tatha Sarvabharana Samayuktam दिव्याभरणसमावृतं पत्रं धदं वामकर्णे दक्षिणे कुण्डलान्वितम् उपवीतसमायुक्तं समभङ्गयुतं शिवं जटामकुटसंयुक्तं विलसद्विगृमाकं नेवं त्रिपुरसंहारम्. Now, in this same space, let us all get ready to receive the Bhava Samadhi Darshan. Please chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Connecting with the divine with your eyes closed is meditation. Connecting with the divine with your eyes open is darshan. Come, let us all now move from meditation to darshan. Slowly, very slowly, please open your eyes.
மனத்தினால் சச்சற்ற கமலம் எல்லாம் கவிழ்ந்ததே. ஆதாரம் ஏழும் வளர்ந்திட இங்கு அண்ணாமலை நீ வர வேண்டும். கற்பனை கொண்டு கவிழ்ந்தது இங்கு மூலாதார சக்கரமீது. உன் திருமுகம் கண்டு மலர்ந்திட இங்கு திருவருள் செய்ய அருளவே. நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய. பயமது கண்டு பயந்தே இங்கு சுவாதிஷ்டானம் அது மூடியே. சுதந்திர உணர்வை சொற்பமும் இன்றி காணாமல் போய் கலங்கினோ. அபயம் என்றிங்கு அபயம் அளித்து உன் அருளினால் யமபயம் எங்கும் இருந்து எங்களை காத்து யமபயம் போக்கி நித்ய சத்குரு அருளவே. சுந்தர முகம் நின்னை கண்டதும் சுவாதிஷ்டானம் அது மலர்ந்ததே. கருணை தேவனே உன் கரம் பட்டு அபயம் நீங்கியே அருளினோய். நித்யாய ஹர ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய. கவலைகள் இங்கு காரிருள் போல கமண்டலத்தை அடைத்த கங்கை போல் மணிப்பூரகத்தில் மையம் கொண்டதால் கமலம் எல்லாம் கவிழ்ந்ததே. கற்பனை தன்னை கடந்த தேவனை சொற்பந்தரா நித்யனே கண்டதும் கவலை எல்லாம் இங்கு காணாமலே. நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே. மணிப்புரகத்தில் மையம் கொண்டு நின் மாதவம் செய்த தேவனே. என்ன ஓட்டங்கள் நின்னை நாடிட நித்யனே நின் பதம் வேணுமே. ஆலகாலத்தை கண்டத்தில் கட்டி நீலகண்டன் என்பது நின் சூலம் கொண்டிட்ட சூக்ஷுமத்தாலே உலகெல்லாம் இங்கு உணர்ந்ததே. உண்பதும் விஷமாகினும் உன்பதம் கண்டதும் உணர்வாகுமே. உணவினால் வரும் தோஷம் எல்லாமே உனை நினைந்திட ஓடுமே. மணிப்பூரகத்தை மலர செய்திடும் மூன்று வகையும் உன்பதம் முறையிட்டேன் குருநாதனே. என் குறை தீர்த்திட நீ வந்திடு. நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய அன்பினை நானும் தேடி தேடியே இதயம் நொந்திங்கு கெட்டனன். மூடிய அநாகதத்தை நின் திருமுகம் தீரக்கவே சூரியன் கண்ட தாமரை போல சுந்தர நின் திருமுகம். சந்திரன் கண்ட அல்லியை போல நின்முகம் கண்ட என் மனம். சந்திரன் கண்ட குமுதமே போல நின் பதம் கண்ட என் மனம். நின்முகம் நினைந்திங்கு நிர்மலமாகவே ஆனதே இதய சக்கரம் அனகதமும் இனிமையோடு திறந்ததே. நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே நித்ய சத்குரு நித்ய சத்குரு நித்யனே. மற்றவர் கண்டு மறைகள் எல்லாம் கலன்று விசுத்தி அதுவும் அசுத்தியாய் பொறாமையோடிங்கு ஏக்கத்தோடப்பா புண்ணியம் எல்லாம் போனதே. எரிந்த பயிரும் ஏக்கமும் சேர்த்து விசுத்தி அசுத்தியானதே. விசுத்தியை தீர்க்க விமலனின் பதம் விரைந்து இங்கு வரவேணும். ஆமை புகுந்த என் அகந்தினை போராமை புகாது காக்கவே காவல்காரனாய் வந்திட்ட உன்னை காவலோடு அழைக்கின்றேன். நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய ஹர நித்யாய. சுத்தி எல்லாம் கடந்திய சுத்தாதீதமே ஞானதே. சுத்த பரவெளி சுகமாய் வீட்டிற்கும் நித்யனே உன் பதம் வேணுமே. அழுக்கெல்லாம் தீர்க்கும் அமலன் ஞான விசுத்தியை சுத்தமாக்கவே சுத்தமோன பரம்பொருள்